So I love it when people call my office and they're like, I need a will. I just have a very simple family situation. Almost never true. But then when they come in and they say, we're a blended family. And I kind of start laughing because I'm like, how is that ever simple when it comes to estate planning? If ever there was a wrench to be thrown in estate planning, it is blended families. And there are a lot of families that are blended, where the spouses marry later in life, they both have kids from separate marriages, or one has kids, one has siblings. We don't know. I've seen it all, and blended families can cause a lot of issues. Point in case, when my grandmother passed away in 2010, she was remarried to my step-grandfather, who was a physician here in Athens and who had two kids from a previous marriage. My dad was an only child of my grandmother. My dad ended up in probate court for 4 years, battling it out over his evil step-siblings. It was awful, and he spent over $200,000. And this all could have been avoided with a more comprehensive, personalized estate plan, especially since my grandmother even told the lawyer that there was going to be conflict. So frustrating. So it's really important that when we have blended families, we maybe take a little bit more care, make sure that we're looking at the nuances of your family and your family relationship. Recently, I had two clients that had come in about, 3 years ago, and unfortunately, one of my passed away. She was older, she had a daughter, he had, 3 children. They came in, and I basically had to mediate a family divorce. And I know that my client was probably rolling in her grave, so upset that this is what had happened. But unfortunately, this happens all the time. The families no longer wanted any of this required working together. They wanted to just go ahead, pay off the daughter, give her assets, and then just move on, hoping for maybe a more amicable relationship afterwards. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. I mediated the divorce, which is, by the way, something I really don't do or offer, but I was stuck in that situation, so we make the best of it and we do what we need to do. But they parted ways, and we felt like we'd found a really good compromise to uphold my client's wishes while getting the daughter paid out, and so that the families could go their own ways. As things often do, it wasn't quite that smooth. Several months later, we're still working on it. So it's really important to realize these things in advance, that your child probably is not going to want to be tied to their step parent or vice versa. But it's really important to maybe do something what we call a blended family buyout. Go ahead and buy out one of the parties so that they're no longer sitting around waiting for your second husband or second wife to pass away. Go ahead and make sure that your child's taken care of no matter what your surviving spouse ends up doing with their estate plan. Because if we're putting all of our faith in our surviving spouse to make sure that our child is taken care of, there's a good chance that when they're older and maybe a little bit more feeble-minded, that their kids are going to come in there and they're going to start talking in their ear and whispering to them and telling them that no, your child didn't need a percentage of that house, that they can just leave it all to them and have their plan updated. But it is really important that even if we trust our spouse 100%, that we maybe take some extra measures and put in place to make sure that no matter what happens, our children are protected and taken care of. And with blended families, it is always important to remember that if you have kids already when you go into a marriage, it may make sense and be a good idea to go ahead and put that prenuptial agreement in place as well. There's lots of things to consider with blended families. There's lots of nuances, lots of uniqueness in every situation that we need to make sure is thought of and considered when drafting your estate plan.